All right. All right, we're recording. All right. So, Bruce, thanks for joining, bud. I just kind of want to go over like the whole point is like these gyms are kind of forced into this online training world right now. We don't know how long it's going to last. And this is like kind of your specialty. You've been doing this for like years. So, I'm just going to kind of grill you on some questions and then you just expand kind of as far as you want. And we'll just try to make this not too long. So, it's not, doesn't get, a little redundant, but let's just start like, tell everyone like what you do and how long you've been doing it for. And you can start with like when you were a coach. You don't have to
Okay.
go back like to your transformation or anything. Just go
Yeah.
like from when you were a CrossFit coach until now.
Okay. So I used to work on a CrossFit gym, and then and doing. We used to run like a lot of the times we do 12 weeks, sometimes 6 week boot camps for individuals that want to lose weight or want to get fit or chase their goals or their transformation. So I've been doing that for about, I mean, obviously now almost 5 years now, but then obviously moved to an online thing about, we've been doing that for almost 3 years now of online where we have people from all over the world and they have like a fitness app that they follow. We had teach them life lessons where we set up their nutrition and everything like that too with this coaching program all online. And we do communication. We do life lessons weekly on a Zoom. They have a private Facebook page where you can go on there as much as you need to and build up your community. Because I know a lot of CrossFit gyms are about building up your community. You can build up a community online too to make it like a big time community. So it's
Gotcha.
really
You've been doing like online training for 3 years right now. And I mean, have you,
yeah.
you haven't even met most of these people in person, right?
No, no. We never meet in person unless we have our epic weekend, of course. But yeah, we
Yeah.
never meet in person.
I might have you like talk about that like later on if
Mhm.
depends how long this goes about the epic weekend. Cause that could be actually something that could be like valuable for these gyms, I think. So, um, okay. So, um, how many people do you coach right now? Like online coach, and then how much do you guys charge?
So I have about, I've gotten up to about 80 people before, where 80 was too many. That would be too many for a coach in particular. So we lowered it to like maybe 60 tops of how many people you really want to coach and deal with, to really give them the value of what you're offering. You could go to 100. It just depends what kind of value you're going to give each person. Then we have, so right now, currently I have 55, but we have other coaches under other coaches that we've hired that we usually keep them no more than 60 because of the value of what we offer and just the strenuous for the coach, obviously. I was kind of the guinea pig to get like 80 and realize like a coach can't keep up with that many clients because it just would be too much wear and tear and constantly going at them. And what we charge is we charge different packages. It's pretty much about $300 a month, or you can charge like an 890. It averages about, we give them like they have to do a 3 month commitment when they sign a contract. So they're stuck with you for at least 3 months. And then they can either pay the full 3 months for 899, or they could do 333 a month. So obviously it's a little bit discount, or they could do 6 months at 1645 for 6 months, or they can do a year for 3,000 basically. So that's the top tier program. Then we have a middle tier program that's 230 a month, and that's still a 3 month commitment no matter what. Okay, and then the reason that we have that middle tier one is it kind of cuts back on the accountability for like as much as the coach is going to be accounted for them. And then obviously we just have a nutrition package that's 166 a month. Okay, where it's just nutrition macros, right? But you have to draw that fine line to make sure you don't overgive but don't under deliver too. So you want to
Gotcha.
you got to figure out that fine line, because this business is like a teacher, a school teacher. Is a lot of the times you have a lot of great things that happen for you, and a lot of things, your schedule is flexible, like teachers have off the summers. It's great for them, right? The schedule, doing online coaching, you get to basically write your own schedule. But there are times where it just sucks because you can't really ever turn it off. So there's pluses and minuses to it. And you have to know, like, hey, sometimes you're going to feel like you're undervalued, but it's something that you also love to do. And you got to look at the pros of everything that comes with it and how you're making money and how you're able to live, and that's what you got to really pay attention to if you really want to be a good online coach, because people see right through that crap too that sign up.
For sure. So how long you were a CrossFit coach for like 2 years, right?
Yeah. And still kind
So
of into it a little bit off and on.
yeah, how does that like compare, I guess, to, because you always had to go into the gym, you had to go early classes or whatever. Like, how does that compare now? Because some of these gyms just might be temporary, like just doing
Yeah.
online coaching temporarily, and then go back to that model. But I think some of them will keep online clients like permanently because,
Yeah.
it's another source of revenue.
Exactly. To me, it's a lot easier to do online than in-person training, than setting up a class, because it's come for an hour, do your thing, hello, boom, they're out the door. You know what I mean? And then when are they coming back? You know what I'm saying? That to me is one of the biggest things about CrossFit. Is like, it's just a constant, okay, are they going to come back? Come back. Oh, we haven't seen you for a couple days. So you send out that automatic email that gyms usually do, like, hey, we haven't seen you, check in for a couple days. So, but online, it's like you set up like the accountability, setting their macros, constantly checking on them. They feel more connected, where they feel you might have 53, 56 clients, 60 clients, but they feel like you're their only client. You know what I mean? Where at a CrossFit gym, when you come in with a class or anything, or you do an individual training, that's 45 minutes of your day that's just gone, but you've really only focused on movements and how to tell them how to train, but you're not going to get an end goal. And as a trainer and a CrossFit coach, it's not as fulfilling to see, right? But if you really want them to transform their lives and really transform and get what you want your business to be, you got to do mind along with the body. So that's a
Yeah, and I
plus
think
side of
that's a
doing
big
online.
piece.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's huge. I think, and that's kind of what I'm trying to bring to this too, is like how much of the mindset piece are you delivering to people on top of like, because you guys give them like training through the app and like stuff
Mhm.
like that and nutrition through the app, but like how much, like a percentage wise, do you think you're spending on like mindset training versus like physical training? Because I think a lot of our
Oh,
gyms do just a lot of
so
physical stuff.
obviously physical, we rarely are doing any physical. Like, I maybe send a video of how to do a workout once a month, or I could do a virtual live workout once a month, maybe on a Zoom call. You know what I mean? Like do something like that. But mainly it's the mental side of it, because once you get and then we use the app. We have an app with fitness, and let them kind of take that and pick which workouts they want to do. So then it doesn't take as much time up for you as person as you're doing online, because it's already in place. You make all the videos, you shoot all the things, you take some time like that. Then they have a program that they can follow. You know what I mean? Then they can just open it up and go. It's not taking up as much as your time, and then they can find ways to make it work for them. Because doing a live workout is great, but not everybody online can come at that time, right? So it's like you might have 2 or 3 people show up, half your other people are out, and they're not going to go back and watch it, because not very many people are going to be like, let me plug this in. How many people do that in general? Don't. If I see a live thing and it's over 5 minutes, I'm usually not watching it. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, I don't have that much time in my hands just to designate to watch this little thing.
I got you. So you guys are like, so you're probably like 80% of the mindset stuff and like 20% or less, even like maybe 90% mindset, and like following up with people. And like, I know you hit Voxers a lot with people and just like doing Zoom calls. Tell me a little bit more about how often are you touching base, say with one of your like top tier customers? Like every day, twice a week, 3 times a week?
I do every day. Now some coaches are required to only do like reach out to them every 48 hours. What we kind of say is we'll have a 24-hour response, right? Within 24 hours, we're going to respond to you. So then let's say, because at night you still need to make sure that you have your time with your family or anything else you can enjoy. But we kind of say within that 24-hour period, you'll respond back to them. Most of the time I'm able to respond quicker, obviously, than 24 hours. Like during the day, I'm designate times just to reply to Voxers, or that's the first thing I do in the mornings. Get on them, ask them what their goals are, ask them what their daily routine is, ask them what they're pursuing today. How do they want to show up today? How do they want to like define themselves today? Those kinds of things. You want to instigate, you want to get their mind thinking, you want to get that. And that is all that some of them need. They just need that extra accountability. They just need that. Make sure somebody's paying attention to them. Make sure somebody is on them, right? And then when they do leave, they see, and a lot of them come back because they realize just that little bit of accountability is the biggest key. That's really what they're paying for, is accountability. right? And then we do a life lesson, weekly life lesson on like different subjects, being beneficially selfish, identity, integrity, all those kinds of things. And then you could open it up at the end, like with Q&A of nutrition and stuff like that. And then we have a portal system actually where they go in and they log in and they talk about the life lesson. They talk about how their goals have been. We give them a nutrition scale of 1 to 10. That's where we would reset their macros if we need to. That's where we talk to them about making promises to themselves, those kinds of things where we line that up. And then obviously the app will set their macros the way we need to set them. But that usually only takes a little bit of time. But we got to focus on the other side of it to make that work, because a lot of the times you don't want to change up anybody's nutrition until they're pretty much all in on it and they've done it for 2 or 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I mean,
Right.
1 week isn't going to just like, we make sure when we're onboarding a client that we talk to them about realistic expectations, what we ask of them, where, and meet them in the middle. Like you got to meet people in the middle. You got to figure out where they're at. If you come at somebody 100 miles per hour and you say you need to do this, this, and this, it's not going to happen. And I'm just going to say it. I used to be an over 400-pound dude, and I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this, personal trainers, they see these guys come in. It's like, hey, you need to do this, this, and this is what's going to get. You don't have the same mind as that. You know what I mean? So that's not how it works, right? You got to figure out how to meet them in the middle and be like, hey, what can you do? And if it starts off with water, you have to build them up to be like believing, okay, the water is okay, and then meet them in the middle. You know what I mean? Then once they get the water down, then maybe you move to a nutrition. Then maybe you move to a movement of over 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But if you don't do those kinds of things, you're going to have people just coming in and out, and you're just going to be qualified as another trainer, right? And
Yep.
you
Just
don't want to
churning.
be qualified with that. Yeah. You want to be somebody that generally cares. And I'm not saying that people that listen to this don't generally care, but you have to figure out what put yourself in their shoes and figure out, okay, what triggers them. Because everybody that's listening to this at some time, you might not necessarily be a food addict, but you're an addict to something. You know what I mean? And nobody knows what it is. And you can't just jump into your shoes and be like, oh, this is how it works. You know, I can't relate to an alcoholic or a drug addict, but how I can relate to them is by food, right? I can be like, okay, yeah, I get that. I get, because with food, that's the way it works for me, right? So it's different things. Somebody might be fitness addicts, you know, like you're addicted to working out. If you don't get it, it just like will be bad. Now that's a good addiction, but as long as it's not overwhelming you in your life.
So that like ties into like creating a connection with people, like how it does have to change because you're not seeing them in person.
Mm-hmm.
So you start with like those baby steps depending on each person, and you're meeting them in the middle with each person individually. Cool.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears just a little bit, Bruce. Tell me about like your onboarding. So like when a new person comes on, what's your onboarding like? Like what's your first call with them like? Is it one-on-one? Is it part of the group? Are you introducing people to the group? How does that look?
Yeah, so obviously once they sign up, they'll fill out a whole form that goes over like their injuries, where they're at, different things like that. It's a long process to fill that all out. Then they'll take before photos. They'll obviously do their weigh-in, do their measurements, everything like that. Then they schedule an assessment call. And then once they get the assessment call, it's about 45 minutes to an hour. And that's when you first have your communication. So we'll try to set up how to use the app, you know what I mean, that they currently have, set up their nutrition, kind of meet them in the middle like I was just talking about, because some of them might not even know what macros or what anything even means. So you got to meet them in the middle and have different things for them. Then you talk about your 3 biggest points. For us, it's like integrity, your why, and power promise. You know what I mean? So we talk about those 3 things. On the mindset piece, that's where we want to hash out. And then we tell them when our life lessons are, what we and give them realistic expectations. So that's why it is an hour, and that's your chance to really connect with them, and that's your chance to really talk to them and focus on what their goals are. You know what I mean? Really focus on them. Don't talk about you, because they're coming to you. They don't need to know where you're at, right? You don't need to say you've done this, this, and this. You can point out a couple points that you've done or where you're at, but they don't need to hear about what you're doing. You need to hear what they're doing. And so that's kind of what we focus on, is like where they're at, what they want to accomplish, and make sure that we get that. So that's how the onboarding process goes. And then we tell them, once we do that, we ask them what their reset day is. And that's the day that they're going to do their accountability check-in every week. So then we'll put the portal and set it up. So if it's Saturday, they know to weigh in Saturdays. They'll get an email that says, hey, go do your update. bam, there it is. So that's the way the onboarding process works.
I like that. So they'll come in, you'll send them a form, they'll fill out, and then you'll set up like a 45-minute to 1 hour call, 1-to-1 with that person.
Yep.
And is that's a video call usually?
Yeah, usually. Yeah, we like to do a video Zoom call, so you're there with them.
And then when you bring them into the group, is that after that you'll just invite them to the next group and then like start getting them in, and then will you introduce them to the group?
Yeah, usually I have them I usually have them introduce themselves on Facebook, like just kind of give them a little lowdown, and then people all jump on, welcome to the group. We have our boxer, we exchange boxers that we do. We do have a team boxer, but some join the team boxer, some don't because it's overwhelming.
So some people might not know what Voxer is. It's just an app. Tell them a little bit about Voxer.
So it's
and
an app, and it's like a walkie-talkie app. So that's basically all it is. So you're able to talk into it all the time or write into it, and it's just a way of communicating with your people all the time. So that's how we communicate, is through Voxer instead of exchanging phone numbers and stuff and texting. It's all through Voxer. And so
you don't do any texting or emailing typically?
Cool. No, we do portal messages. Like you can do portal messages in there. So.
Gotcha. So I guess expand a little bit more. Like if you have people like looking to like cancel or fall off, like how do you save those type of people, or can you kind of see that coming ahead of time, or?
Yeah, a lot of the times you can kind of see it coming with like how they're communicating, how they're getting back to you. But the thing is, if you're making an endless effort, your retention is going to be good. I mean, if you're constantly, I'm in the 90% retention rate, so it's like, and have different programs set up for them. So when they get to goal, you have another program. Maybe it's a little less of accountability, but they still have the portal. They still have access to you to set their nutrition. You know what I mean? Still stuff like that. You want to have like an endless thing for them, so then they keep coming. But you gotta show that you care, because it doesn't matter with people. A lot of people think, okay, especially if you own a CrossFit gym, they think, okay, a lot of the people that you work with that are out and about, is a lot of people can't do a lot of things that are done in CrossFit, right? And walk through the doors. So it's very limited. So how do you spread? How do you get that open to them? You've got to show them an environment that's safe. You got to show them an environment. And yeah, sometimes they're in their own damn head. That's on them. Sometimes they're, whatever. But the more that you show you care and you can make it work for them and you can be adaptable, they're going to come, they're going to stay, because they're going to feel safe. They're not going to have the insecurity of like, where am I at? I don't fit in with this group. You know what I mean? Like, so it really is about how much you show that you care before you can even show them how much so that's a big deal. That. So
that's big. So like, you kind of talked about it a little bit already, but like take one of your coaches that like doesn't have as great a retention, like how does that compare to like what you do? Like what if you can say a difference, like is there a difference between, is it just reaching out, is it just accountability, is it touching base more? Like what makes you different? Why do you have 90% compared to the coach that doesn't?
It's touching base. It's touching base, meeting them in the middle and giving them what they need in the tough love, and also showing that you care. You can't make it look like it's a list. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going down my list, I'm checking in on people. Is it your job? Yes. And is it a list? It is a list, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? But you got to make sure that they know that you care, that you're constantly going the extra. It's like a teacher. Like I said, you got to go a little bit extra mile. But also there's so many plus sides about cheering people online, doing your own schedule, being able to have days off when you want to have it off. Like if you're a coach and you're training people one-on-one, it's not as easy to reschedule. It's not as easy to pick up and just leave. It's not as easy to just like, oh, I'm going to wake up at this time. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that opportunity when you are constantly coaching people in person. But with this, you have that opportunity to do that. So,
love it. So tell me a little bit too, like, so you coach people all across the world, right? But mostly in the US?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How do you deal with like, cause I just imagine most of our gyms will probably keep like working with people just locally, but if they do want to expand, like maybe the other like time zones, which within the US, it's pretty easy, but tell me how you like handle, and we don't have to expand too far on this, but don't you have like some European customers and some Australian customers?
Yeah.
How do you deal with like time zones there?
They're just like different time zones. Like they'll send a message probably late at night when I'm sleeping, and then when I wake up, I'll just Voxer back, or vice versa. Like Australia, it's like they're usually like a day ahead. So when we're at night, they're like waking up. So then we kind of communicate there, and they know it. You know what I mean? They know what they're signing up for. They know when you do that assessment call with them, you establish that. You know what I mean? A lot of the times we record our Zooms, so they're not able to get on the Zoom because it's nighttime for them. So we just send it. You know what I mean? Or we post it on our page. So it's like that's how they're able to relate, and they feel a part of the community. You know, they feel a part of something special. So it's really good.
Cool. So how do you guys generate referrals? Like, I'm sure you're getting people to like your customers right now that you coach, like referring you people. Like, do you ask for referrals, or they just naturally happen, or how does that look?
Yeah, I mean, there's different referrals. We ask for like testimonials. We ask for people to jump on different outlets of their social medias and post about like the success they've had, talk about the program. You know, once you start to get enough people generated, you don't have to do as much, you know, because there's more people out there, you know. And when you're starting, you're getting people, you just got to go the extra mile, and you just got to push, right? You got to show people what you're offering, and make it work. And then the rest will take care of itself, you know. But it's a business that's like up and down, you know what I mean? January is a great month. Then as this other times go along, I mean, but it's just how you are relentless towards keeping the people and giving them. You gotta over deliver a little bit. That's just the end of the day. You gotta over deliver.
Right. And you're working a lot more hours now than you probably were as a coach,
Oh, for
CrossFit
sure.
coach.
But I love this a lot better.
But it's at home. It's at home,
It's
right?
at
Most of
home,
the time, right?
do whatever I want. Yeah, exactly.
So a couple more questions, Bruce. Tell me how like this whole like pandemic with the Corona thing has like changed your business. If it has it made it worse, better? Like, how do you think that's affected you guys?
Um, I mean, it's a little bit like worse, you know, like some people have lost their job, so obviously they couldn't pay for coaching. But as of right now, we're doing pretty well because it's all online, right? We're able to still nothing's changed because we still have that communication, right? Where gym owners with their gym, it's like, okay, we have to figure out something. We have to scramble, you know, to be like, how are we going to communicate with these people now? Because we used to see them every day, but we don't, you know, because we were already in communication. We already have a Zoom call scheduled every week. We have, you know what I mean, little things. We have our Facebook page that's alive. We have a Boxer that's alive. You know what I mean? So all that stuff still is falling into place. And right now, more than ever, health is important. It clearly shows, you know, like it doesn't matter if you have all the shit in the world, but if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter, you know, like, so, I mean, that's what we kind of are selling to our people. And that accountability helps them right now. There's no reason why they can't focus on that. So
Cool. All right. So I'm gonna ask one more question, then I'm gonna post this in our Facebook group and just have it accessible. And
yeah,
then I'm just gonna kind of leave it open for Q&A. And since you and I are pretty good friends, if they have
yeah.
something I can't answer, I'll just come ask you. But just trying to get through like everything that you guys provide value. Maybe I'll see if I can get like an idea of that form, that onboarding form that you guys have.
Yeah.
That you like just kind of some of the questions you ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all right, so here's like, and you've probably touched on most of this, but I'll just let you like do your Bruce thing here for a minute. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to give advice, like a coach, like these coaches that are going online now, like, what do you think is like the most important thing that they should be doing to get new customers and retain their current customers? Like, of all that you guys do, what do you think is probably the most important thing?
Just like the constant communication through Boxer. I think that's the biggest thing. That's the accountability. People love that because when they lose that, that's what they're always talking about. Just that accountability, somebody looking after them and everything like that. So that to me is the biggest thing. So, and
Oh,
then the life lessons once a week.
talk a little bit more about that, and then we can wrap it up. The life lessons. It's just like, do you give them like, I know it's like little like, do you give them like workbooks or anything to fill out, or
We
like
hand out
anything like
like
that?
we send like a weekly worksheet with it, like so we have a call to action at the end. So they have a worksheet that they can work out with that. So it's like last week was beneficially selfish. You know, we talk about how people are going to be in your way to get your goals. You know what I mean? You have to be beneficially selfish. So an analogy that we use is like when you get on an airplane, you put the mask on yourself before you put it on anybody else. And like, because it doesn't matter if you don't take care of yourself, you're not gonna be able to take care of your kids or whoever else is in your life. So it's very important that you have to be beneficially selfish so you can show up. so for them.
Love it. Cool. Well, dude, I appreciate you, and stick on for a minute when I stop the recording. But
Perfect.
yeah, man, I appreciate everything that you do, and
Yeah.
you're always like, I mean, just being around you, you're super positive all the time. So I think that's a big thing too. And I'm sure like your Voxers
Yeah.
and stuff, when you communicate with people, I mean,
Mhm.
you just get pumped, man. That's like one of your
Yeah,
things. So when you're on those video calls, like
exactly.
your energy, I think that comes across is big with people, and it motivates them.
Mhm.
I get the
Exactly.
chills even talking about it just because I know you so well. But even being at your house and hearing you on these Zoom calls with
Mhm.
people, like you're getting them pumped up. And I thought you were like yelling at times, but you're just getting them excited and getting them pumped up.
Exactly.
And I think that's a big piece of it too, man. But I just appreciate you taking the time for our gyms, and just I'll let you know if they have questions. And yeah, we appreciate you, man.
Perfect.